Water sports. Swimming is probably the most basic of all water sports. However, modern swimming competitions have become very advanced, with electronic timing deciding races by hundredths of a second. Sailing and all kinds of boat racing are also very popular water sports, with famous international competitions. Sailboarding and surfing are newer sports that have developed from very popular leisure activities. Wet and wild. In water sports, competitors must know how to use the water to best advantage.
From spectacular high-board dives to the stunning accuracy of synchronized swimming, water sports can be a thrill and a delight to watch. The skill and stamina involved in many of these sports is breathtaking. Competing with elements like the wind and the sea, participants in water sports events have to rely heavily on favourable weather and specialised equipment in order to be able to perform well. Often pursuing their sport in dangerous conditions, exhilaration is what drives many enthusiasts on.
Canoeing. There are two main types of canoe, the kayak and the Canadian canoe. The kayak has a closed deck and the canoeist sits inside, legs outstretched under the deck. The paddle has a blade at both ends. Most Canadian canoes have an open deck. The canoeist kneels down and uses a single-bladed paddle. Teamwork. Canoeists race in teams of 1, 2, or 4 per canoe, from short sprints to marathons. The equipment. The kayak and the Canadian canoe have different designs. Rules and regulations. Canoeing. Like rowing, sprint races take place in lanes on flat water courses. Ideally, there should be no currents, making each lane equally fair. The shortest distance is a straight line of 500 m, 550-yard point. The race winner is the first boat to reach the finish line. Each lane is about 9 m, 9.8 yard wide and marked by a series of buoys. Competitors must stay in their lanes throughout. The starter gets the race underway by shouting ready, then go, or by firing a shot. Any boat which makes more than 2 false starts is disqualified. If a competitor's paddle breaks within 15 m of the start, a red flag is waved and the racers are called back to start again. Events are usually run in heats, but there is a special round called a repechage round, which gives first round losers a second chance of getting to the final. Longer races of 10,000 m usually take place over 3 laps of an oval course. There is a mass start and only the final 1,000 m is raced in lanes. Safety helmet. Buoyancy aid. Wetsuit. Double-bladed paddle. Boots with non-slip shoes. Whitewater racing. The most exciting canoe events are slalom and whitewater. In the slalom, competitors race against the clock, steering the canoe between gate poles. In whitewater racing, competitors are timed over a course that includes obstacles such as rocks and rapids. Both events take place on a downhill course, and require the strength to battle against fast-flowing, dangerous, frothy, white water. Slalom racing competitors must react quickly to deal with sudden changes on the course. Rules and regulations. Canoeing. A slalom course is between 300 and 800 m long. The courses are graded from 1 to 6 in terms of difficulty, 6 being the most hazardous. Slalom competitors start at 45-second intervals. Hanging over the course, just above the level of the water, are up to 30 gates. These are pairs of poles through which the racer tries to guide the boat. All of the gates are numbered front and back, but the back number has a diagonal line through it to show that it should not be entered from that side. Downstream gates are painted green and white, upstream are red and white. A judge sits on the bank by each gate to make sure that the boat passes through legally. The gate must not be touched by the boat, the paddle or the competitor's body. If one pole is touched, the racer is given a 5-point penalty. If both poles are touched, there is a 10-point penalty. If a gate is missed altogether, taken in the wrong order or passed through in the wrong direction, the penalty is 50 points. Any penalty points are added on to the competitor's finishing time. Each competitor has 2 runs, with the better score counting. The finishing time is given in seconds and the winner is the one with the lowest number, including penalties. Competitors are allowed to carry a spare paddle, but anyone whose boat capsizes is disqualified from that run. In team slalom events, 3 paddlers set off to complete the course in the fastest time from the first boat crossing the start line to the last one crossing the finishing line. A wild water race is like a downhill race in skiing. It is held over a stretch of white water up to 8 kilometers, 5 miles, in length. There are no gates, just the dangerous rocks and rapids of the river. Competitors start at 1-minute intervals. They have only one run and the one with the fastest time wins. If a boat capsizes in wild water racing, the racer can get back in, provided he does not receive help from anybody else. He can then continue the race. Swimming. There are 4 strokes in competitive swimming. Freestyle swimmers always use front crawl, because it is the fastest, backstroke, butterfly, and breaststroke. Competitors dive from starting blocks in all events except the backstroke. They race in lanes separated by lane dividers. The water is kept at a temperature of 24 C, 75 F.
The swimming pool. Major championships take place in a pool 50 meters 55 yards long and 21 meters 23 yards wide. For 100-meter races, competitors swim 2 lengths of the pool. For 200 meters, they swim 4. Here starting block, and here the lane, and here the flag.
Split-second swimmers touch a special pad as they finish to stop the clock. Rules and regulations. Swimming. The swimmers have to touch the pool wall, either with their hands or feet, when they turn at the end of each length. Any type of swimming stroke can be used in freestyle events. In medley races, competitors swim all 4 strokes. In breaststroke, at least part of the swimmer's head must always be above the general level of the water. The only exception is at the start and at any turns, when 1 stroke of the arms and 1 leg kick are allowed, while the swimmer is completely underwater. Both hands must always be on or under the surface of the water and they must touch the end of the pool together. The legs must be kicked at the same time and must always be under the water. Butterfly swimmers also have to kick their legs at the same time. Backstrokers are allowed off their backs only during turns and even then only for a split second between the time when they touch the wall with their hands and push off again with their feet. Any swimmer found to have broken the rules risks being disqualified. Famous competitions. The Olympic Games. Swimming has been held at every Olympics since the modern version began in 1896, although women didn't compete until the 1912 Games, when Australia's Fanny Durrett won the only race, the 100m freestyle. Races are now held over many distances, from the 50m freestyle to the 1500m freestyle. Winners of the most Olympic gold medals in rowing. Men, 9 Mark Spitz, USA, women, 6 Kristin Otto, Germany, the World Championships. The first swimming world championships were held in 1973 and are now staged in a different country every 4 years. In 1991 a 25 kilometers endurance race was introduced for the first time and was held in the sea. Winners of the most World Championship gold medals in swimming. Men, 5 Michael Gross, Germany. Women, 8 Cornelia Ender, Germany. Rubber swimming caps. Tight-fitting swimsuit. Trunks. Swimming goggles. Synchronized swimming. Synchronized swimming is one of the newest Olympic sports. Teams of swimmers perform ballet-like movements in time to music. The competitors spend a lot of time beneath the surface, so they need to be able to hold their breath for a long time. Although the sport looks gentle, the swimmers must have lots of stamina and muscle control. As well as performing exhausting, slow-motion routines, they also try to make it all look effortless. Keep smiling. Appearance is very important and competitors try to look alike while performing. Many wear matching costumes. Rules and regulations. Synchronized swimming. Synchronized swimming competitions are divided into 2 sections, compulsory exercises and a free routine. There are 7 judges, each of whom gives marks out of 10. The compulsories are set movements and the judges are looking for smoothly controlled exercises. 2 separate scores are given for the free routines, one for technical merit, how correctly and precisely the movements are carried out, and the other for artistic impression, how smooth and graceful they look, and how they fit the music. The winning team is the one with the best overall points total. Water polo. Water polo is played in part of a swimming pool by 2 teams of 7 players. The aim is to try to throw the ball into the opponent's goal. The ball can be passed or dribbled. Dribbling is when players swim with the ball in their arms. Water polo players must be good swimmers and have very strong arms. Most importantly, they must have the stamina to be constantly pushed underwater, and to be able to swim away quickly from opponents. Who's who? Colored caps identify the teams, white for one side and dark blue for the other. The goalkeeper wears a red capital letter. Rules and regulations. Water polo. The playing area for water polo should be 30 m, 33 yard, long and 20 m, 22 yard, wide. The water should be at least 1.8 m, 6 foot, deep. The goals are 3 m, 10 foot, wide and 0.9 m, 3 foot, high. Lines are marked out on the pool 2 and 4 m, 6 and 13 foot, from each goal line. The teams are identified by the color of their numbered swimming caps. One team wears white, the other blue. Goalkeepers wear red caps. Each team is allowed to use 4 substitutes. The referee sits by the side of the pool and has a stick with a white flag on one end and a blue one on the other. When there is a foul, he blows his whistle and uses the flags to indicate which team has committed the offense. A game has 4 7-minute periods of actual play, the clock being stopped whenever the whistle is blown. Play starts with all of the players on their own goal lines. The ball is placed in the center of the pool and the players have to swim as fast as they can to the middle in order to get possession of the ball. The team in possession must always try a shot at goal within 35 seconds. Goals can be scored by any part of the body, except a fist. Only the goalkeeper can place 2 hands on the ball or touch the bottom of the pool. Players must not go beyond the opposing 2-meter line, unless the ball is already in that zone. Minor fouls are punished by a free throw. These include holding the ball beneath the water when tackled, impeding another player, touching the ball with both hands at the same time and splashing water in an opponent's face. Major fouls include holding or sinking an opponent who does not have the ball, kicking or striking an opponent, and committing a foul inside your own 4-meter area to prevent a goal. In some cases, a penalty throw at goal can be awarded. This is taken from the 4-meter line against only the goalkeeper. In other cases, the offending player can be sent off, either for 45 seconds, or for the rest of the game. Any player who commits 3 major fouls automatically misses the rest of the game. Diving. There are 2 different competitions in diving, springboard and Hubbard, or platform, diving. Judges give points for each dive and there are 5 basic types of dive: forward, reverse, twist, backward, and inward. For each type, there are many different starting positions and moves in the air. This means there is a total of more than 100 recognized dives. With any dive, the judges are looking for the smoothest entry into the water. Taking the plunge. When competitors dive from the high board, their bodies will enter the water at a speed of about 52 km/h, 32 miles per hour. Rules and regulations. Diving. For diving competitions, the water must be at least 5 m, 16 foot 5 in, deep. The springboard is 3 m, 10 foot, above the water and is flexible. The highboard is 10 m, 33 foot, above the water and is rigid. First, competitors perform a series of set dives. These consist of backwards and forwards takeoffs, handstand takeoffs and twists. Then they choose which dives they want to do. The dive can be as easy or difficult as they like. The judges mark each dive out of 10. The judges' highest and lowest marks are ignored and the rest are added together. The total is then multiplied by a number according to that dive's degree of difficulty. That number is called the tariff. The more difficult the dive, the higher the tariff and therefore the higher possible mark. The judges look at the whole dive, the approach, the takeoff, grace and technique in the air and a smooth entry into the water. When a diver enters the water, his or her body should be as near vertical as possible. The head should be tucked in, the feet should be together and the toes pointed. A well-executed dive should make very little splash in the water. Sailboarding. Sailboarding, also called windsurfing, combines element of surfing and sailing. Competitors use a large sail to steer the board. There are 3 types of competition: course racing, slalom, and wave sailing. Over the last 20 years, it has become one of the most exciting water sports. Types of sailboard. The sailboard is designed and built to carry one person. Faster and faster today, boards can go as fast as 74 km/h, 46 miles per hour. Rules and regulations. Sailboarding. The standard sailboard measures between 2.54 m, 8 to 13 foot, long. Course racing takes place over a number of laps of a set course. In course racing, a sailboarder on port tack must give way to one on starboard tack. If your right hand is nearest the mast, you are on starboard tack. If it's the left hand, you are on port tack. As in sailing, the penalty for breaking the rules is to be forced to do a 720-degree turn, 2 full circles, which loses valuable time. Slalom races may start from either the beach or the water. Competitors zigzag their way around a series of markers, the winner being the one with the fastest time. Wave sailing competitions are judged in 3 categories: jumping, riding, and transitions. Moving on to waves. A time limit is set according to the weather at the time, but heats, qualifying races, usually last between 5 and 10 minutes. During the heat, only the best 3 jumps, rides, and transitions count. Each maneuver is given a point score out of 10. The best 3 scores in each discipline are then multiplied to obtain an overall point total. Marks are awarded depending on how difficult the maneuver is and how well it was performed. Jumping points are awarded for height and control while the board is in the air. The sailor who catches a wave first has priority. Synthetic rubber helmet. Wetsuit. Buoyancy aid. Synthetic rubber shoes. Surfing. Surfers paddle out to sea on lightweight boards and then ride the waves back to shore. Once the surfer has caught a wave, he or she can rise first to a kneeling, then to a standing position on the board. Any type of board may be used, but most competition boards have 3 fins on the lower side of the tail. These are called tree fins. On good, strong waves, surfers can ride for over 0.8 kilometers, 0.5 mile. Riding the wave, judges award points to competitors for their surfing style and their timing. Rules and regulations. Surfing. There are few rules in surfing. Any size board may be used, although the most popular is a long, narrow board called a Malibu. This is between 1.8 m and 2.25 m, 7.5 foot long. It is up to the surfer to select the wave on which to ride and also to decide when to end the ride. In competition, groups of between 5 and 12 surfers perform routines in the same area of water. Each makes up to 10 wave runs. Each run is marked out of 20. The judges award points based on takeoff, turns, the length of the ride and the difficulty of wave selected. The winner is the surfer with most points at the end of all the runs. Water skiing. The water skier is pulled behind a motorboat on 1 or 2 skis. Competitions are divided into 3 sections. In slalom, the skier must ski around buoys in the water. In jumping, skiers are pulled off a ramp and judged on distance. The third section is tricks, where routines such as turns and twists are performed and judged. The best skiers can perform 30 different tricks within the 40-second period. Speed skis. The motorboat has to go at least 30 km/h, 19 miles per hour to keep the skier upright. Rules and regulations. Water skiing. The course is 259 m, 283 yard long and 23 m, 75 foot wide. The towing boat must keep a speed of 58 km/h, 36 miles per hour for men and 55 km/h, 34 miles per hour for women as it proceeds down the center of the course. The skier tries to round 6 buoys, arranged so that 3 are on each side, usually on the very edges of the course. Half a point is scored for rounding the outside of a buoy and the other half when the skier returns to the center of the course. A successful move of this nature is called a pass. With each pass, the length of the tow rope is reduced. It starts at a length of 16 m, 52 foot, and shortens by about 1 m, 39 in, after each pass. As the rope gets shorter, the skier has to travel faster to keep up with the boat. Both the boat and the skier must start and finish by going through pairs of buoys at each end of the course. The score is given as the number of buoys rounded followed by the length of the rope when the run ended. Jumping. The ramp is 7.3 m, 24 foot long and 3.9 m, 13 foot wide. For men, the top of the ramp is 1.8 m, 6 foot from the water and the speed of the towing boat is 57 km/h, 35.5 miles per hour. For women, the ramp is 1.5 m, 5 foot high and the boat speed is 51 km/h, 32 miles per hour. The skier is allowed 3 attempts. But if the boat goes too slowly, the skier can have another jump. If the boat goes too fast, the jump has to be made again. The longest jump wins. Tricks. The tricks are performed during two 20-second passes between two sets of buoys, 175 m, 191 yard, apart. No trick can be repeated. At least one trick must see the skier holding the tow rope with his foot. There is no speed limit for the boat. It can go as fast or as slow as the skier wishes, but the speed must remain constant. The tow rope is usually about 20 m, 65 foot, long. The judges award points for the performance. If they do not think a particular trick was performed very well, they will not award it any points. As well as the winners of the individual sections, some skiers choose to compete in all three. The overall champion is worked out from the total scores in the three events. Rowing. Rowing is a racing sport for boats containing 1, 2, 4, or 8 rowers. Rowers use 1 or 2 oars to push the boat through the water. Rowing with 2 oars is called sculling. In some events a cox steers the rowers. The length of the boat varies for each event, but the basic design of all rowing boats is the same. Rowing to win championship races usually take place in lanes. Each lane is 2000 m, 2187 yard, long. Rowing technique: rowers lean back, bending their arms, as they pull the oars. Rules and regulations. Rowing. At international and Olympic levels, the boats row 6 abreast in lanes. Each lane is mapped out by floating markers known as buoys. Each boat must stay in its own lane throughout the race. The umpire follows the competitors in a launch to make sure that the boats stay in their own lanes. Top class rowing is divided into various categories. Men's heavyweight is open to men of any weight, but men's lightweight is for crews with an average individual weight of no more than 70 kilograms, 154 pounds. In the lightweight division, no individual member of the crew must weigh more than 72.5 kilograms, 159 pounds. Championship regattas start with heats, qualifying races, which lead to the semifinals and final. Even those beaten in the heats can still qualify for the final through a special race called a repechage. This is open only to those crews beaten in the first round, and is staged to give possible medalists a second chance. In rowing events which do not take place in lanes, such as the Oxford and Cambridge University boat race, in England, the boats can only cross over, provided there is clear water between the two boats. This is to stop the oars getting tangled up and the boats colliding and maybe even sinking. Famous competitions. The Olympic Games. The first Olympic rowing competition was in 1900 and took place on the River Seine in Paris, France. Since then most Olympic rowing events have been held on still water like lakes rather than flowing rivers. The standard Olympic distance for all races is 2,000 meters. There are several divisions in rowing and they include single sculls, double sculls, coxed pairs, coxless fours, and eights. Winner of the most Olympic gold medals in rowing, for Stephen Ridgeway, Great Britain. Fixed training shoes and sliding seat. Tight shorts. Oars. Sailing. The two main types of yacht racing are inshore and offshore. Inshore racing takes place near the coast and on courses marked by buoys. Offshore racing takes place across the sea or ocean. Sailors use the wind and change the angle at which they sail so that the boat gets blown along. Different yacht types. Yachts are designed to suit the type of race they compete in. Against the elements, sailors have to get the best from their boats as well as the wind. Rules and regulations. Sailing. Races are started by gun. Inshore courses are often laid out according to the direction of the wind. The first section is usually raced into the wind. This is called a beat. The course then goes off in different directions to complete a triangular shape. Each corner of the triangle has a mark. The boats must go around the various marks. At marks and buoys, a boat with the wind on the port, left-hand, side must give way to one with the wind on the starboard, right-hand, side. The penalty for breaking these rules is for the offending boat to do a 720-degree turn, 2 full circles. This costs both time and placing. In races competed in by boats of the same design, the winner is the first to cross the finishing line. Olympic yachtsmen take part in 7 races, but only the best 6 count towards the overall finishing position. In offshore races, where different-sized boats are racing, there is a handicap system so that small boats can compete equally with larger ones. Each boat finishes the course in what is called its elapsed time. But then the boat's handicap is taken into account to work out what is known as the corrected time. The boat with the best corrected time is the winner. This means that in long-distance races, the first boat to finish is rarely the overall winner. That honor could go to a small yacht finishing several hours behind. Waterproof jacket with safety harness. Waterproof trousers. Rubber deck boots. Buoyancy aid. Powerboat racing. Powerboat racing is the fastest form of water sport. In the top class of racing, sleek, streamlined boats are fitted with powerful engines which help them reach speeds of up to 217 km/h, 135 miles per hour. There are 2 main types of powerboat event, offshore and circuit. Offshore takes place in the open seas, while circuit racing takes place over a number of laps, usually on an inland waterway. A different class. There are several classes of race for different sizes and types of engine. Rules and regulations. Powerboat racing. All boats must have at least 2 crew members, a driver and navigator. The navigator tells the driver which way to go. The course is marked out by a series of buoys. Racing cannot take place if visibility is less than 1 mile. At the beginning of a race, the boats head towards the start line behind a special start boat. They must not get nearer than 30 m, 32 yard, to the start boat. A green flag is raised to get the race underway. Any boat which gets too close to the start boat will receive a 3-minute penalty. No outside help, including refueling, is allowed during a race. The finish of the race is shown by a checkered flag. Circuit racing. 3 types of boat compete in circuit racing. Hydroplanes have twin hulls and the driver sits, kneels or lies down. Monohulls are single-hulled boats, similar to a ski boat. Catamarans are twin-hulled boats. In monohulls and catamarans, the driver is seated. The water must be at least 1.2 m, 4 foot, deep over the entire course. Unlike offshore racing, the boats must be stationary at the start of a circuit race. Anyone making a false start receives a 1-lap penalty. Any boat hitting one of the course markers also receives a 1-lap penalty. In races with boats of the same class, the winner is the first boat to pass the checkered flag, as long as it has followed the correct course. A new form of racing is jet ski racing, where competitors ride small motorized water skis around courses marked out on lakes.